The Truth Girls. The Truth Girls.
Hi everyone. Well, I've been looking into the whole Fukushima radiation spreading all over the world thing, and I'm starting to think something is really not making sense here. Okay, I'm sure you've all seen those projection maps where they show us where the radiation is going. Like this one from Météo France that shows that it's spreading all over the world. And this is pretty much what the mainstream media is telling us, that it's spreading, although we shouldn't be concerned. Which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because if the thing is leaking and it's spreading and spreading, it should be accumulating and we should be getting exposed to, quite high levels of radiation after a while. So why do they keep telling us not to be worried? Less than a week after the incident of Fukushima, University of Washington scientists found Japanese radiation in the campus ventilation system. They wanted to see what was in the Japanese radiation, so they decided to test their own air filtration system. So how do they know that what was in there actually came from Japan? Maybe I'm missing something here, but I mean, it was like less than a week later, they check their air filters, they say, oh, there's iodine in there, must be from Fukushima. And then for some reason they didn't tell the public about it for 2 weeks. But my main concern was, how do they really know where that's coming from? Maybe they don't. And now we're being told that it's in the milk and vegetables in Europe, and it's been found in the milk in the US as well. And Ontario sees slight increase to radiation levels. The milk, that's even stranger, because they were telling us it's coming from rainwater falling on the grass, which is then eaten by cows. Although that's a bit strange, because cows these days don't eat grass. And whatever they're eating now is stuff that was grown quite a while ago. So something doesn't add up there. And in Ontario, slight increase in radiation levels, but just a little while ago, an Ontario reactor leaked, again, as they say, negligible radiation. Maybe the radiation that we're finding all over the place isn't coming from Fukushima. Maybe it's coming from other, more local sources. At least in the case of the Philadelphia drinking water, they admitted they didn't really know where it came from. They say many experts believe the most likely source is iodine-131 used to treat thyroid cancer or hyperthyroid. But nothing allows scientists and investigators to track an iodine-131 sample to a specific medical facility or other source. A medical facility? Leaking radioactive material? And this wasn't the only place where it was suspected that the radioactive iodine might have been coming from a medical facility and not Fukushima. Fukushima radiation checks stepped up in Scotland. So they've been finding radioactive iodine in Scotland as well. But in this article they mention that SEPA, which is like their EPA, said this could be linked to a combination of the isotope in rainfall together with authorized releases from hospitals. So what's all this about hospitals releasing radioactive material? What are hospitals doing with radioactive iodine when we've all been told that thyroid cancer is a hazard from radioactive iodine emitted by Japan's failing nuclear power plants? So when it comes from Japan, it'll give you thyroid cancer. But when it comes from the hospital, it will somehow cure thyroid cancer. Okay, maybe I failed double think back in high school, but this seems like a real paradox to me. I mean, we're being told all the time, radioactive iodine, if it gets into your thyroid, it'll give you thyroid cancer. But then if you have thyroid cancer, we'll just take more radioactive iodine and it'll make it go away. You see, it's because of that kind of stuff that I've lost confidence in mainstream medicine. No? Doesn't that seem a bit weird to you? Isn't that a bit like saying cigarettes cure lung cancer? Maybe I'm just missing something here. Maybe you have to go to medical school to understand how something can cause cancer and yet cure cancer at the same time. Maybe that's why it takes 10 years to become a doctor, because that's how long it takes to brainwash somebody to believe stuff like that. But anyway, my point here was, we don't really know where the radiation is coming from. And all that radioactive iodine, it could be coming from, hospitals or something like that. And the other stuff could be coming from, I don't know, other uses of radioactive stuff. Maybe even military sources, maybe in some cases. What makes me really suspicious is See, I've been around for a while, and I've been through this kind of thing before, where something happens and we all get the feeling that, like, this is it, this is the end. Check your Bible, because it looks like it's happening now. But, you know, swine flu, that turned out to be a total scam to sell vaccines. And then there was the Gulf oil spill crisis. Well, it wasn't really a spill, but leak or whatever. And you remember, you know, they were saying 30,000 barrels a day for 30 years, and Kreda Mutwa said we're all going to die, and Lindsey Williams on Alex Jones' show said that they hit abiotic oil and we're all screwed. And then in the end, it turned out that, you know, it was some kind of a hoax, I guess, and the Corexit did a lot more damage than the oil, if it was even oil in the first place. So, you know, I've been around for a while, and like George Bush said, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you, I guess, or shame on me. Anyway, you know, you can't just keep freaking us out like this and think we're not going to catch on. The one thing that I have caught on to is that the big thing that the New World Order likes to do is freak us out and keep us in a constant state of fear. I don't know what exactly it is that they get out of that, but somehow that's a really big part of their agenda. So I think they're just trying to scare us. Probably, yeah, this radioactive stuff is there, and I mean, I don't doubt that it's in the milk and all that, but it's probably been there all along. And this is probably kind of like a convenient way for them to cover up the fact that their medical facilities and reactors and all this other stuff has been leaking like quite large amounts of radiation into the environment for, you know, probably decades. And now they can just blame it all on Fukushima. I don't know really what's going on. I don't know what their agenda is exactly here. Are they going to make us want to get rid of all nuclear energy, which may not be a bad thing, but I don't know what their agenda is exactly. But you know what? I just don't believe the official story, and I don't really even believe about all this radiation supposedly leaking all over the world right now. I suspect that there's more to it than that, and I suspect they're covering something up, and then it's just part of their agenda somehow. Well, let me know what you think. Maybe if we put our heads together we can figure this out, or maybe not. But anyway, thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.